The last one.
Well.
It says so, right?
Chris, are you well?
I'm well, yeah,
Good surveying weather, but for the text.
yeah, it's pretty nice out there.
I've already had a bite.
Yeah, they were dive bombing my windshield and I.
He's talking about ticks.
Ticks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ticks
okay.
ticks or black flies, either one.
John got one the other day. And he hadn't even been, he'd just been on his tractor, but he hadn't been out like,
A tick?
yeah.
Yeah, they seem to be, they know how to get on you. I think sometimes you get them, you guys, I think sometimes you get them in your house just from like they come off the dog and then they're just waiting for something
Right.
else to come by that's good.
My mom gets them when she goes out into the garden to put her in the dirt.
That's where you get it from.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't see any. I don't see any issues with this.
No, it's fine to me.
I make a motion, they be accepted. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All right, so we're gonna talk to Chris some more.
Okay, Chris, what you got?
Okay,
Okay, I have three large prints that you can share. That's some small ones.
Are you willing to share?
I'll share it, sure. Sharing's good. I'll come over a little bit. I don't think I've got cooties or anything tonight.
Well, I don't know. Jenny
You
was
never
saying,
know.
you know, that smell of musty in here.
What do we
Who
got?
wants the third one here? Anybody? particular?
You can hold it. Chris.
Okay,
Yeah,
I do choose two versions. The left-hand version shows in heavy
right.
lines, the original deeds.
Mhm.
The church was deeded first back in the mid-1800s, and then a nice individual came along and deeded this L-shaped piece, about an acre and a half, for the parsonage. Of course, back then, there was no subdivision rules. You could deed a foot to somebody if you wanted. And but we did have, thankfully, deeds required. So we have these two original descriptions. They've been combined as one and used as one for many years. And what the church would like to do, because they can't afford the parsonage and the church, they'd like to divide it, divide the parsonage off. And I've been trying to find a way that would be acceptable for the state and the town. And both have their own set of requirements. And this roughly 1 acre would, I believe, satisfy the state. And the town, however, we've got a lot shape factor that is in the 30s, which is much better than it was last time.
Mhm.
But, and there are within a half mile of this, there are a number of lots that are in about 40. So, they didn't occur after the shape factor came about, but anyway, so this isn't unheard of. And it would, both lots would be encumbered by the field, the Corey Tabor field, which would still want to be used as it is today. The bottom lot would be encumbered by this septic system that comes from the gun store, the former gun store.
Mhm.
So we've got that. And both are encumbered by the town water line, which crosses the the left side of this is a 20-foot strip that comes from the town well.
This right here,
No,
No. where,
right across the
the back.
back side,
the back, okay,
right here, there's a water line.
okay.
The town well is right up here. This circle arc, you see,
Is
is 200-foot radius from the town well.
Okay,
And the town, that occurs, that figure comes in the deeds that, these people deeded the town an easement and told the town they would not develop that area within 200 feet of the well. Some towns it's 400 feet, and I thought at first it was going to be 4, and if it was 4, that would wipe this right out, because it would just about hit the
Mhm.
septic, but it turns out it's only 2. So we got away with that, but it's so, this is the best I've been able to do. The back sides of the lots, the left side would be the state, the area that this would show the state was suitable for a new septic, should a new septic be needed.
Mhm.
Chris, is it possible to? If the planning board were willing to break all the rules.
Yeah.
Could you put the parsonage on a very tiny lot? With easements for septic on the other lot and leave the church with the Corey Tabor field as one parcel?
Probably not. I was I had a, I had a,
I mean, at some
It's like
level,
the reverse of what you've got.
yes, exactly, that's right, it just
Yeah.
feels like it makes more sense for
you
the
would think
church,
so.
but the state wouldn't budge on that?
I asked the state, I called what's it, forget his name. But I said, okay, can we get along with a small lot and have an easement or a second area? An
I
open
just, right,
area out a couple hundred feet away, they said, no,
Just flat out no.
no, that won't work. And so, which is too bad, because you know, it would
I can
make
see
sense.
from the value perspective, the parsonage being tremendously hurt. By the Corey Tabor field.
Yeah,
People aren't gonna wanna own a property where the public plays tennis out back.
Yeah.
No,
Baseball.
no, I
yeah,
mean,
you get people running around and then, you know, it's your property, leaving trash.
Right,
Stuff like that,
right.
you know, it's not, it's not a great.
I mean, what would the value of the parsonage be with that kind of
right.
attachment to it? I mean, if from a liability, could they get homeowners insurance?
Right.
Could they get homeowners insurance? Probably not,
I,
I mean. To cover the potential liability of kids playing tennis behind you and.
Does the town maintain that?
it's not town, I don't.
It's a-
No, it's actually, it's a private park, often seen as a municipal park.
Right.
Private park owned by the church in memory of Corey Tabor, who was hit by a car up by the Leveron Fieldhouse many eons ago now. And his parents have always been heavily involved in the church. And so that was something that they were able to do.
So it was gifted to the church.
Yeah, and I think like all gifts, it's come with a cost too,
Yeah.
people break the stuff and then you have to fix it.
Yeah.
And it's, it's got, what's it have, basketball courts,
Tennis court.
tennis courts, and
Ball field,
I'm sure the tennis court's
Ball field,
well on its
ball
way to
field.
being a pickleball court,
yeah.
cause that seems to be the hot, and then there's
And they have a
the,
little skating rink
Mhm.
in the winter.
Yeah, so it's.
Yeah, but
it's a
they would
nice-
lose that, I mean, unless they started doing the skating rink out in the field. They used to do it in the parking area right behind the parsonage,
right, right.
but I don't know if they're switching.
And does the town pump house have any impact on it at all?
Uh,
The project, I mean, the fact that the water system.
I don't think the pump house does. no.
No, the wells are,
The well would.
Yeah, yeah.
And the well line, because we have to stay a certain distance away, but. I will, I'm gonna double check with the state, that he,
It's the 1 acre, if you have the parsonage on a smaller lot,
Uh-huh.
there's just not room on that lot to put in a septic.
Well.
I thought they already had a septic.
Yeah, they both use that little circle. On
Here?
the line
Yeah.
is the septic for both the church and the
Right,
parsonage.
right.
And they don't really know what it is. It's just, it's probably a dry well, the old fashioned dry well, and there's so little use in the church.
Right.
And So, and the sand, it's such a sandy soil that it will take a lot of water. But doesn't mean it's not going into the water table and ending up in somebody else's well. So it's not that will eventually would have to be
Replace.
corrected.
That's why they need the contiguous land in the back,
Yeah, the state,
so when that fails.
see, the state, if down in the lower left corner, I wrote what the state must have. At least 20,000, number one, at least 20,000 contiguous receiving layer.
Okay.
You see, 20,000, that's half an acre. They need at least half an acre of contiguous receiving layer. And that would take you right back to the far end of the tennis courts, if you,
Yeah,
you see, and
How does the church feel about this? This design this one right here,
well,
have they reviewed that?
I wouldn't say reviewed. I emailed back and forth with, what's his name? He was on.
Mark,
Mark?
Mark,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so he knows what's happening.
he's a good guy, he'll tell everybody else.
Yeah, if he I tell him what I'm proposing so that he'll be able to tell me, no, don't do that. They don't think they have too much choice.
I would
Either
agree.
they get it done or they decide not to do it.
Hmm.
We don't have too many configurations at table. So if I can come up with something that will work with the town, then I'll see whether they really want to go ahead with it, you know?
I would think that they really need to, I'm sure they've talked to a realtor, they probably talked to Erica Smith or something, but to ask her, what would be the saleability of the parsonage with
Yeah,
this public,
I think for the church, it's more a matter of needing to not be responsible for maintaining the parsonage.
Right.
anymore.
right?
I think if they could get, $100,000 for it even, it would be worth it for them to not have to maintain that building anymore.
now, could they lease the
Could they
building
rent
to
it?
Not
somebody?
have it be tax-free, not have it be tax
Oh.
exempt anymore. Am I
Well,
right in
maybe
assuming
you
that,
don't-
Steve? That if they were to rent this as a residence to someone other than the pastor, that it would nullify their tax exempt status on that parcel?
On the building, certainly it would. The church might still be able to claim the revenue. KUA owns the hockey rink, but the revenue from the hockey rink is considered necessary to support the school. And so it remains tax exempt. But a long-term lease might be an interesting idea. It's just seems so sad, and so hard to do.
Yeah.
Right? It's not, I mean, you're doing all you can for your
Well,
client.
part of it is trying to, in my mind anyway, separating these two buildings and selling one or the other becomes complicated because of the field.
Mhm, it does.
Right.
If not for the Corey Tabor Field and the desire to maintain that as a park and open to the public area. That to me is the stick in the selling point
Mhm.
for whoever wants to buy the parsonage, because as you say, who wants to pay for a piece of land? And then have to have so much of it, I mean, that's over half the lot.
Yeah,
Like the whole backside of the lot between the tennis courts. And this back area, all available for public use.
but if
I
you
don't-
play tennis, it may not be a bad thing.
That's true.
That's
We
true.
need a tennis pro.
Yeah, I mean, I go by there a lot and I don't see anybody there.
Mm,
And so you
yeah.
would actually have your own tennis court. So, there's maybe
And maybe there is a market for something like that.
I have a friend in Vermont who's a retired surveyor and he loves to play tennis. And so, gee, that would be great. But,
Well,
so, yeah.
So is it our problem whether they can sell that or not?
no. No, it's.
No, I mean, but at
So-
some level, it is our problem if it's just so confluted. The town just says, no, you can't
That's-
separate the two.
Yeah.
That's true
Um,
enough.
And again, the church is disappointed in that. And, you know.
But we can't just let them put it back to that.
No, although that is. No,
It's simpler.
well, yeah,
But-
and I mean, it is, there was this piece of. There was this piece of legislation some years ago that the state essentially got mad at towns and said, you can't keep. You can't keep gobbling up lots that are non-conforming to the zoning ordinance, it's a taking. We were required to print something in the annual report for 3 years in a row that said, if you wanna undo your lot merger, your involuntary lot merger. You just let us know and we're happy to do that for you. So on that same,
Sorry, people in the waiting room.
oh, we're good.
I'd
They
like
should-
to
they
see the
should-
town get some of the tax revenue off of this property.
You know, I mean, so they could.
That would be nice.
You could make the same argument, I think that. But you can't make that argument for the little tiny, you know, for putting the fire station on a little tiny lot. I mean, it's just a difficult even, I mean, what you've done, Chris, I assume what you've done there, they then. Each property has easements on it, essentially, or the parsonage property has an easement allowing the public
Yeah.
to use the Corey Tabor field.
Yeah.
Owned by the church.
Yeah, they would both have, yeah, the parsonage would have an easement, yeah. And so, you know, most of the property would be usable by the recreation.
Can we query the Overmans? The Overmans
Sure.
are here.
Oh, hi, Mark and Tina.
Can you guys hear us okay?
No, we
Not
got,
yet.
we got to access the camera, the video, maybe camera.
Yeah, I can give you the camera there, but can you hear us?
Well, they could until you touch something.
No, I don't think. Mark and Tina, are you there?
Nope. We're back in the waiting room.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Yeah, they were just here a minute ago.
Okay.
It's gonna be an echo.
Now they're here twice.
Are you here once at all? If you can unmute and with a camera can be secondary, if we can hear you and you can hear us. Or alternatively, if you dialed 603-469-3201, we could put you on speakerphone. Hello?
I don't know, but their mic is,
Can you guys unmute? Go get a phone book and call their house.
yeah, I'm sure they're listening. Yeah, I think you may need to.
Oh, they just unmuted. Can you guys hear us?
We can hear you fine.
Okay, oh, good.
We
Okay.
don't need to, I mean, we'd love to see you, but we don't have to see you.
Well, I wouldn't object to that, but I'm not clever enough to turn it on.
You're saying nice things
Yeah,
about
we
us.
tried that and then it sort of shut us off.
And so, Chris Rollins, your surveyor is here.
Right,
With.
Right.
A second round of possible things, subdivision of the parsonage from the church. Can
Mhm.
you help the planning board? Understand a little more, I mean, this thing needs a whole bunch of waivers and some of them harder than others. Can you help us understand what's driving this? We've heard various degree from different people, various reasons. But what's the objective and goal, or why is this necessary after a couple hundred years or whatever it's been?
but the church building needs some significant repair, both on the part of the slate roof and part of the steeple. And work to do that is fairly expensive. And we don't have the financial resources to accomplish that task. And one asset that the church has that would allow us to do that is to sell the parsonage. And that would give us obviously a lot more money than we need at the moment to accomplish the repairs that need to be done. But several years ago, when Bill Eckert was still in town, he did organized a massive fundraising campaign when we repaired the steeple last time. And it took a lot of time and effort on his part, and the congregation was bigger than it is now. I think more people were involved in the church, and he raised about half as much money to do that project then as it would cost today. And unless, you know, some of the extremely wealthy people in town wanted to throw, you know, several of them wanted to throw $10,000 or $20,000 as a tax donation to the church, why there's no way that we could raise the $75,000 or $80,000 we need to do the repairs that are necessary. So we've looked at selling the parsonage as sort of a you know, the last vehicle that could be used to accomplish some repairs that we're going to try to do in a manner that will last longer than they did last time. But that's the reason for the subdivision. We don't like the idea either, but we don't have a lot of choice in the matter with the project that needs to be done.
Right. So Mark, hi, this is Jane.
Hi. Hi.
So is there gonna be a fundraising effort for the steeple? Is someone gonna, I mean,
we've been doing some work at you know, getting listed with the New Hampshire Historical Society.
The Tasker Fund?
Yeah, and there's some other I think of the Tasker grant may have I think we may have already made an application for that.
yeah, no, I've got that application.
Okay.
So, but are there any other kinds of grants that you've applied for?
Not that I'm aware of right now. Most other things that we've looked at have matching. A lot of things have matching responsibilities, and if somebody was going to make a sizable grant, we wouldn't really be able to match if that were part of the process at the moment.
Right, but it seems like so you don't really have anybody in the congregation who's gonna take on like a major fundraising attempt?
I'm not that I'm completely aware of. I mean, the congregation isn't too large, and most of us
Right.
not too young, and I haven't. You know, obviously we've talked about this for quite a while, and the you know, a major fundraiser isn't something that's really been you know, that magnitude hasn't really been discussed as a real possibility.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, I know that like there are other churches around who've faced the same steeple issue. And have raised money to do the repairs, and you obviously can't depend on your congregation to, you need a wider community to step up. But if people don't even know that this is an issue and it's a problem, or you know, it's hard to get people to contribute if they don't know about it. You know, it just seems like, I mean, this is separate from this application, but I'm just saying,
Oh, yeah.
it just
Yeah.
seems like, I mean, I think Cornish raised enough to repair their steeple, right? The church in Cornish.
Was it the steeple or was it their furnace, their heating system?
Well, there've been different things, but, And you know, obviously, a lot of money's been raised from grants for the town hall. And all of those vehicles are available to you, but it's, you know, it takes time and to do the grant writing part, but they've been very successful, and they do have to raise matching funds like for the L-chip grants, but
Right,
if you've got a grant, if you ask for $70,000 or something and you've got a grant and got word out that we need to raise 35 in the community, you know, you might get a more of a response than you think. I mean, we have a lot of people in the community who could donate to that. But can't donate it if they don't know that it's an issue.
no, I agree completely. So I just know that I was, like I said, we were all involved in the project when Bill Eckert worked on it, and I mean, he had the giant thermometer out front that had the fundraising levels on it, and mailed letters to you know, everybody on this side of town, and really worked at it very very diligently for a long period of time. Obviously, that was a different time. Maybe there are different people here now. I don't know, but you know, he did finally get, you know, enough money together to do the part of the project that we had to do then. But you know, and whether we should you know, try that as a full-blown project again, you know, I'd certainly be happy to talk about it, but I don't know, you know, I don't know that we have anybody that's going to want to undertake that level of you know, of responsibility. But let's say maybe we do. So, you know, maybe we should look at that as well. But
One of the things we were talking about, Mark, just before you guys came in, was one option that Chris has is puts a fair amount of the field, particularly the tennis courts and things, on the parsonage lot. And while the planning board is not in the business of worrying about economics, we are all members of the community and care greatly about Plainfield Village and the church. I mean, and we wonder if that really will negatively impact the ability to sell the parsonage, or will impact its value. Just the fact that the public will be out playing tennis in my backyard most nights, or baseball or basketball, or whatever the hot sport is at the moment. And just wondering if you guys have thought about or had any discussion with appraisers as to what the impact of having a quasi-public park on your land will do. One member even questioned whether or not you'd be able to get help, homeowners insurance.
Yeah,
yeah, I can understand that.
yeah, I mean, I really, yeah. Yeah, I brought up the homeowners because, you know, it's for people who live in old houses, you hear stories, it's getting harder and harder to get insured for old houses just in general. But if you have the potential liability of people playing basketball or tennis on your property, I really, really question whether someone would be able to get homeowners insurance.
I think there's a greater sympathy, frankly, for waiving a bunch of the things that have to be waived to put the parsonage on a very small lot on its own, free and clear of all things related to the church, except maybe some easements for septic. But Chris feels like that's a pretty hard push with the state.
I was going to say, yeah, the state doesn't seem to be, you know, I was assuming that the state wasn't going to go along with that at all.
Right, well, that's Chris's feelings, although after we put him on the rack and gave it a couple turns, he said he would go back and try to, you know, I don't know if there's anybody at the state who, if they're just reading out of a book or they really care about the details of the situation. At the end of the day, what we know these properties, and Chris, you know it far better than I do. These properties have to have a place to put their septic in the future, right? I mean, that's just the, you
Yeah, I
know,
don't
we,
think
we
that-
all have to do that. I mean, when they subdivide.
I don't think the town's gonna be putting in a sewer system anytime
No,
soon.
no, not that I'm aware of. And so, you know, this is the struggles, and I think there's even sadness, just that the church feels like it has to do this, if. We're not involved in the management of the church as you guys have been for all these years. And it feels like it makes it much harder to get a dedicated pastor if you can't provide housing. And I know there's been good luck with interims and other things, but it's just feels like one of the biggest benefits you've got is that building, when people come to look at our community.
No, I agree with all of that, with that discussion. At the moment, why, the current occupants of the parsonage want to buy it. So we have a willing buyer under the current constraints. Now, I think that the next buyer might be harder to find, but as far as our plan to use that as an asset is based on the fact that they are willing to buy it and continue the use of the combined properties pretty much as they are,
Right.
but would allow them to begin to build equity in a property. So but I completely agree that we would much rather have the parsonage on a small lot and just make the easement for the septic system, but it wouldn't be, contiguous unless it's that gerrymandered configuration with the strip up the north side.
Right.
And that's looks a little strange on paper, of course.
Right.
Yeah, I will talk to the state again, they have their rules, their numbers they need to meet, and that's probably why he said that'll never work. Well, but I'll twist his arm a little bit, maybe.
I mean, I think certainly this lot configuration is better.
Right.
It's not as good as that one would be, but it's
Yeah.
better. I mean, Barry Schuster, when I had a conversation with town council about this a few months ago, Chris had asked me a question about blowing up a lot shape factor so that we could do, I think, what we're just talking about. And Barry was like, absolutely, so much better to get the parsonage on a lot that is terribly non-conforming but free of
Yeah.
all other encumbrances.
Yeah,
Just in the future, just for conflict that will happen when somebody vandalizes the church, the park, or what they, kids just being kids sometimes. So I think, if there's anything we can do, Chris, to lean on people, we could try that, but you've got better contacts than we do. I've never seen, the system, if you apply today, it's approved by lunchtime.
yeah.
It's amazing. I sign the thing, give it to you,
Mhm.
you send it in, and I come back from lunch and there's the approval.
I
I mean,
get-
the system is
Yeah.
lightning fast.
Yeah.
So just put it in, just send it in, see what they do.
Well, yeah, it takes a lot of work to get it the point to send it in, so
Yeah.
I hate to
Yeah, right,
waste that.
right.
In a perfect world, what I would like to see is this situation flipped. I would
Mhm.
like to see this, the parsonage like that.
Yep.
With an easement to be able to do their secondary septic thing back there and have the church have all of this. So that, to my mind, that eliminates the concerns for homeowners insurance. Because then this building lot is not responsible for anything that happens on that.
Right.
Well,
And it is interesting.
So tell them
Remember
the planning board wants.
Remember the ADU, one of the ADU requirements for the new law talks about homeowners insurance. right? The ability to get
Oh, yeah,
insurance on the
class six
ADU.
roads.
Mhm.
Or is that what it is? Is it
It's
not-
a class
I mean,
six
so
road.
clearly the legislature is thinking that that is an outrageous discussion for the planning board to have, or for the towns to be having. You know, can the building be insured? And so that may be something that the church could talk to their agent about. In terms of, you know, somebody that you know, or we have in the community that knows insurance. The Mayo guy lives up the street, his dad did AB Guile for years and years. But just some information about, could we get homeowners insurance on that building if the Corey Tabor Field were on the lot?
Yeah,
Or
we're
on
split half and
on
half.
a parcel, a piece of the lot, that might be interesting to know. But if it were easy, Chris, you wouldn't wanna do it. This one's. I thought the Jewel project was enough for you.
Well, yeah, well, it was enough, but
This is a real interesting moment again in time in Plainfield Village, because you've got the store empty.
Yeah.
Right,
You know, and not in great shape, right? I mean, the owner was there for a while and did keep it open and it looked good. But it looks less good now. It's not, you know, it needs some maintenance like all buildings do. And now with this change with the parsonage, I mean, it just seems like there's some interesting things happening. And of course, that store has an easement, right?
Yes.
The store
Yeah.
has an easement under the field too. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's the one green space in that part of town,
Yeah.
the septic system.
yeah, there's a lot, I mean, there's power line easements, water line easements.
Water line easement, yeah.
Yeah. So, a lot of things going on there.
I mean, I think it's more likely than not that we will find some way to accommodate the church and its wishes. We're just trying to figure out the way that has the fewest waivers and the least impact overall in terms of what, for the future. I mean, we do see lots of projects. You hit it right on the head, Mark. We see lots of projects that work really well for the first owners and less well for the next owners.
Yeah.
And of course, that conflict ends up at the town at some level. Not, sometimes we can push it away, but people are, upset about shared driveways. They're upset about conservation easements. We deal with those things a lot.
so
Sure.
there's, just to review this a little bit, where the existing septic is, there's not the ability to create a new septic.
There may be, I'm not saying there isn't, but that's not enough land for the state to create a new lot. We couldn't tell the state, well, it's gonna go here. They're gonna say, well, that's fine, if it can go there, but we need to see 20,000 square feet of contiguous receiving there. Where's your 20,000? That takes us beyond the courts. You see,
Right.
to get to 20.
That's just a rule.
It's
That's,
just a rule.
that's just what they say.
Yeah, they say,
That's a-
if you can't get that, if we had, of course, if we had sewer, town sewer, we wouldn't be
Right.
talking to the state.
Right.
We
You
wouldn't,
would just connect it.
but, they need those things, we need, in the 20,000, you have to show the 4,000 that you could put a septic on. The 20,000 is receiving, it's land that, there's no wetland in it, there are no,
Right,
easements. Then the 4,000 is the place where you could plop down a septic. And maybe you plan to do that. You have your soil tests all done there. And then.
so you'd have your 4,000 there, but just not the,
You may have your 4,000 there. But the 20,000, and this we could say that, okay, the 20,000 starts here. And goes this way, and it was like that, but I'm not
Okay.
sure whether the courts, the paved area, I guess it probably counts accountable, but it's sort of like the paved area, like the town doesn't like too much pavement in your lot, because it doesn't take the rainwater.
Well, we're here every 2 weeks, Chris.
Yeah, well, I enjoy coming over.
Well, I think we enjoy having you, and I know this is a, you
Yeah.
know,
Get
project.
you out of the
Some-
house.
I mean,
Some
but-
boards I wouldn't go.
I mean, for the next meeting, you would probably have
Talk to
have
the state.
ferried it out as much as the state would let you have.
Yeah.
You would know the answer
Yeah.
of what they would approve and not approve.
Yeah,
And then, you know, again, I think what you've got here is an improvement over what we had the last time.
yeah.
Can I have one of the little ones,
Please do.
just to put in the minute book?
Just to be devil's advocate
you,
here,
Barb.
if you absolutely had to 20,000, if one of these courts went away
Mhm.
and became a grassy area, would that give you 20,000?
No, well, it may be countable anyway, you see,
Okay,
but, and see, I'm counting. I didn't show, I had the 20,000 all hatched out here, but I didn't
Okay.
show it. You can, I think we can count the courts as part of that 20,000.
okay,
But 20,000 is half the lot. See, this lot is like 40 some odd thousand, the whole lot.
okay,
So the 20 is gonna take half of it, so it's bigger than, and it's just, it needs to be that in order to take 4 bedrooms of effluent without encroaching on your neighbor,
right,
which is kind of ridiculous because it's one world we have here.
right,
And it doesn't know anything about boundary lines. It just go, and the water we drink was drunk by 1,000 other people. At least, and a few dinosaurs,
yeah,
so,
Well, especially the water in Arizona.
so it doesn't, the boundaries don't really mean much as far as the water. It
Right.
will, that, they flush the toilet here and it will be down to Cornish before long.
right.
Don't tell them though.
Right,
But hopefully filtered and.
Right.
And clean. So, yeah, I'll let you guys, get on with your business. You have a, probably go home, walk Bonanza.
Oh, we have just
Well,
outrageously thirsty master plan.
we have master plan.
Which is at some level. Not to act
Yeah.
bad or otherwise.
it does.
It would be fascinating to know, like. Is the boundary different when you design a septic system?
Yeah.
Are the boundaries away from the well must be much greater when the well is a shallow well versus a drilled well?
No change.
No change.
No. However, there was some talk, and I don't know if it ever went anywhere. You know, if your well is down 600 feet, they say, why do you have to be, you don't have to be 75 because it's already 600.
Yeah,
Ah, right.
yeah.
But
But it would be fascinating to know, like, water, we use water, but we don't destroy it, or I guess we can create it with, you know, out of H2O. But the water comes out of your hose and goes onto your lawn.
Yeah.
At some point, it must end up back in your well.
I know.
Right? I mean, it's,
Exactly.
and so same with your septic system,
I-
That's why
right?
you should not put chemicals on your lawn.
Right, because eventually you're gonna drink it, but the shallow well would be much, much more vulnerable to that, you would think.
Well, I don't know about that.
No?
I've always questioned that. I like my shallow well and I like the water in it, you know, back when.
You know, I sat my rookie year, I sat through planning board meetings or zoning board meetings, remember when Louise and EJ Sawyer, I had so much fun with Sonny Sawyer over the years, when his little gun shop and his little
Sure.
store, I go by it now and I say, nobody on the planet knows that was a gun shop. Well, it was, but he got into a big upset with the Zayats who had bought the house that I spent a lot of time in, the Martins. And that house, his well was out in the middle of the field, and the Zayats had pastured horses out there, right? They had paddocks, they had a fair number of horses. And the Zayats wanted to drill Sonny a well. And he said, no, I like that shallow water. It tastes good. You're getting a little extra nutrient to it. But he wanted, you know, what he wanted, I mean, in the end, they burned the well up and, you know, Scott McClay did some work and that kind of stuff. But it would, I would just think, I guess I don't know enough about how water travels through the ground.
Yeah, well, I have more faith in a shallow well because you know whether, you know what is affected.
Yeah.
Because you could see it.
Right,
But you drill down there 600 feet, and that could be coming from Enfield,
Mhm.
of the Lebanon landfill, which is pulsing underneath,
No, it-
trying to escape.
There's some
true.
arsenic
And,
thrown in
and
from
it's
the
headed,
granite.
it's headed by gravity, it's headed towards the ocean, and we're right in its path, you know?
And it's headed one way or the other.
Yeah, so you're right, and people ask me about, they say, well, you know, I hate to use so much water in my well. I said, what the heck, you pump it out over there, and like Steve said, you put it back in over here, and it's just gonna go back. And there's no, you don't really, you're not using, you're borrowing it for a few minutes, and
Right,
that's it.
it's not really gone.
No.
All right, we
Yeah.
should get,
All right,
thank you, Chris.
thank you,
Keep at it. I
Chris.
think we're making slow progress, but it's,
I think
we're getting there.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Overmans, you're welcome to stay for a rousing game of master plan.
Now, I got some other things to do. There may not be better things to do, but there are other things. to do.
Well said.
We
Well said.
appreciate your invitation and your accommodation, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Have a good night.
All right, thank you. Bye now.
I'm gonna leave this going for,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna share
It's
with.
not an ideal situation at all.
No, you do that.
but you know, you look at our little income, economic chapter with incomes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There are people out there.
Well, never mind
Sure.
that. I drove by the deli, $4.55 a gallon.
Yeah, the deli, yes. So
Right.
yes.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, yeah.
And the country store, Plainfield Country Store isn't much better.
Yes, I mean, it was, it seemed as though. It seemed as though the
It's just
country
like-
wasn't perfect, but we were making it out okay.
It was,
And all of a sudden,
it just
we're
like,
not.
it
It's
went up
miserable.
like $1.50 in the
Oh.
course of a month.
So,
Give it a break.
So let's address your concerns, because you have things that might fall back to grace.
Yes, and that's why I wanted to make sure we looked at this. So
Okay.
I'm still working on this. The stuff that's in blue
yeah,
is stuff that I revamped.
okay. Can we
And
make
then-
it a little bigger? Yeah.
A little bigger. How's that?
So what I really wanted you
better.
guys
It
to.
is.
Bigger?
It could be a little, oh, perfect.
What I really wanted you guys to see sooner rather than later were the charts, because that has to
Yes.
go back to Grace.
Okay,
Okay, so this too is important. That's the blurb in black. That's what I put in about the
yes,
averages.
yes, yeah, saw that, yeah,
So if that makes sense, then I'll flip that to blue when I go back
Okay.
to
okay,
working on it.
okay,
And then, okay, so this is. She's got these really wide bars.
yeah,
That give us no comparison to the last. Like, this is information for this particular time frame.
yeah, but there's another graph that shows over time, didn't it?
It used to, our old master plan, it showed. The difference between the previous master plan and the current one. And see,
Okay,
this is just the 5-year estimates for this time frame.
okay,
So this comparison is New Hampshire, Sullivan County and Plainfield.
right,
There's not
But
a
it
ton.
it shows it now, it doesn't show the change from the last time
So
that the master. plan
you
was
would
done.
not be opposed, if it were
Okay.
possible, to seeing each of those split between the last
The
master plan.
last one and what it is now, is that, I mean, am I just, tell me straight out if
no,
I'm
no, I
being too
thought there's
picky.
another chart that
Well-
does talk that.
But I'm wondering, like, it's kind of goes back to having that 1975 data chart, like,
I don't think we need to go back that
No,
far,
we-
do we?
but just, no, I know, but just as it's just an example, like, what is it? Is it useful to see that, the increase? Like, do we?
Because there is another chart that talks about.
Okay,
Well, let's go,
Okay.
let's keep that thought.
okay. This is why I wanted you guys to look at it.
Okay,
Now, this one, she's got on our old master plan. She's got percentages at the top of the bars. I'm fine with that. The
Okay,
division, I'm fine with that. But on the side, the chart in the old master plan had not percentage of households, but number of households.
I think that's more valuable.
I prefer the number of households to the percentage, but maybe that's just me. And so if we were to ask her to put the number of households on the side, and then she can leave the percentages on the tops of the bars, I don't care about that. But because and later on, there is a chart that says the number of households, but it's a completely different chart. And it's a table, it's not a chart.
So
right.
you think numbers of houses is more useful to the reader than percentages?
I believe so, because unless you know the total number of houses.
Yeah.
You
But
can't.
that's the population though. Right? Does that?
No, that's percentage of households.
Households, yeah.
It's Plainfield
Okay.
household income distribution. But we don't know the number of households. So 9.1% is this, like, who knows what that could be?
You don't know how many houses 10% of
Yeah,
Plainfield is.
I mean, 10% of 1,000 is 100, but if it's 2,000 households, then that's 200,
But we know how many households we have.
but it doesn't say that in the master plan before that. It says it after. And it doesn't say it and see, this is the family income, and it does the same thing. And the other part is that these bars are wide enough that we could have the last not just going back, like you said, to 75, but the last time frame
Right.
of information as being half that bar. So that we could see the difference between, 2010 and 2020.
Mhm. Yeah, like
In
you
the
just
charts.
split the bar in half, one would have old data, one has the new
Right.
data. So you just have like the same
Because
size.
then I have something to talk about. With this, it's like, all I'm doing is saying in words what's said in this chart. There's no comparison to be made. Because the old information, the next most recent information isn't represented here.
Okay,
But it isn't, it isn't another graph.
so let's keep
We
going.
have, let's keep going. You talk, I mean,
That's where the number of households is said,
okay,
This is after the chart.
after both of those charts.
Yeah.
And it
okay.
doesn't say the number of families, we only have the chart with the number of households.
And she can probably so if she made that change. If she made the change, would you then wanna get rid of 4.1? Would it not no longer be necessary or?
Do we need both the households and the families?
Or income, right, wasn't it?
How-
Or the income
do you-
distribution?
Right, how are you making a distinction between the number of households and the number of families?
That's what I don't know. It doesn't
A
say.
household is a family.
So I don't feel as though we need the second chart that's above this. If we have just the distribution, see, this is, I don't think we need that.
Although it is a very visual of how rich we are as a
Correct.
community.
For families.
Maybe not individually, but as a.
And the numbers are not exactly the same
Oh,
from the household distribution income to this one. There are differences in the columns.
So the breaks aren't the same.
Yeah,
because in the previous one, the highest bracket was like.
Well,
100
150 plus, wasn't it?
No, it was 200, but it was 21%.
Right.
And
the-
the 100,000 to 149 was less than that.
no, it's up Stevenston.
Oh, I was thinking it was this one here. That's what I.
Oh, you can see it there, but see, this lists the number by that table has the number of households at the individual income levels.
Right,
This, I would just like to see it's the
See more
the
of a break.
bars split
Right.
between the last survey information and this one.
And
so that
here you'd
I
like
have
to see,
something to compare.
here you'd like to see percentages, not true numbers as opposed to percentages.
Yes, but I mean, I didn't wanna just like say that. What do you guys think? Do we need the family?
Well, I think you have to say what the distinction is, because they're giving different numbers, but what is the
Yes.
distinction? Right, so you're
Yes.
giving like two sets of data, but why?
And I was looking at that income. And what I found myself doing is I was pulling up the old master plan. So that I could get the old information to be able to make a comparison between what I was seeing in the table and the charts now. As to what was in it before, so I was having to go back and forth. To be able to make a comparison, but without the information on these charts. I mean, I can say that it's coming from the old master plan, but to my mind, it would be more appropriate to have. The comparison information on these charts.
But this table is breaking down the brackets differently than the table.
Right, well,
on
it's,
the chart.
as you point out, it's number of households. As opposed to
That's family.
numbers of families.
But we have a household,
Yeah,
chart.
the household one is the next
and
one
those
up.
numbers are different than the table. So the
Yeah,
table
see, that's
numbers
a household.
are conflicting because they're lumping the highest two brackets together.
Right, so,
And so it's skewing the numbers.
so 4-2, and what was the name, I'm just trying to take some notes here, what was the 4-1
There needs to be alignment.
table?
And I don't think we really need both of them because they're both giving us the same information.
Except this has the total number of households and the chart doesn't.
Well, but we're
But
gonna
no,
put the,
but if we have the number in the chart, in the bar graph,
we can do away with this.
then one of them can
Yes.
go.
Okay, all right, I think I got that,
And having a visual bar graph is more effective.
Way
I
better.
think so.
Yeah.
way better. So that's this,
I left that alone because I
Well, it's-
assumed that she had updated that to
yeah, no, it
the
makes,
newer specs.
she certainly referenced 2025. She's done a much better job of giving us sources for everything.
Yes,
I say that, and this one doesn't seem to have one, but maybe she tells us in here where it is.
I think she says above. Yeah, it's in the blue.
Okay,
Census Bureau.
maybe just a little census bureau down at the bottom of placate one. That's okay. Now what do we got here?
And then, see, this is what I would like to see on the other ones. You see how she's got the information for the different time frames, and she's got it with the different colors for each depiction. I don't think that we need the different counties in New Hampshire in that other chart that I was talking about. But if
But
she
you like the
were to,
layout.
I like the different years that the information comes from
Yeah,
and the colors of the bars, so that in the text, I have something that I can actually talk about.
but these axes are not defined. Like,
Yeah, the one on the side is not, except that it's in the top. It is, it assumes that you're recognizing that the left numbers are percents. Like it's 3%, 6%, 9%,
Why
12%.
just say that?
well, most people are never gonna read that. They're just gonna look at the chart.
Right.
And if you see it, you need to have, anytime you have a chart, like label the axes, just so people
Right,
know what the.
and put a source at the bottom.
Yeah,
That's,
an
what-
asterisk and a source.
that's all you need. That's.
I
what
think
they
the
taught us.
source is in the text though.
Right, no, but, and I appreciate that. It would just be for consistency.
Yes, it would. be
I was
good.
just bragging on how the other ones were improved. This one,
That'll teach you.
this one doesn't have, but, okay, I think we see what we need there.
And then, this, I have to confess that I got to this chart and it's like, okay, my brain is done. So
Okay, well, yeah,
those are the things that I really wanted you guys to see, so that we could get the information.
Well, we wanna get her started on it.
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Do you wanna, if you wanna look through the rest of it, we can.
Well, it's just.
But I
looking to
did
see-
Well,
So-
yeah, I had a few things to,
What do you got,
change.
Jane?
well, just a couple of them were just, let's start with page one. It was just a kind of a grammatical thing. I thought it should. Where we get down to the thing about 1998. On page one.
Yeah,
19
right on that first, the ordinances adopted by the town in 1998.
Yeah, I would just switch that, just say in 1998, the town adopted ordinances, it just to make it
Yeah.
clearer, a
Yeah.
little sharper.
Okay, so that's your bailiwick, at least you'll
Yep.
get that one.
I can do
Okay.
that.
And what else you got?
Then I had on page 8. There's a sentence there that says. This indicates something about, illustrates that poverty is spread across age groups.
Yeah.
Which is not. It's not.
And well, that's why I did all that in red and it's like, okay,
Okay, it's not spread across age groups. There's no one under the age of 34 living in poverty according to this. So
yeah,
it's not spread across. I still, these numbers just still kind of,
Well, and I think, there's gotta be newer numbers,
well, no, these are,
2010?
okay, so yeah, that was another one. Is that really supposed to be 2010 or 2020?
well, I don't understand how there can be no kids living in poverty in this town and because I know that Stephanie's busy,
Right,
you know.
so
And
the last
seniors.
time with the master plan, one of the striking things to me was people talk about seniors, being in poverty. The last time, there were like 5 seniors who were living in poverty, and now they're 18 or 22.
Yeah.
There's a disconnect between what the numbers were the last time. Um,
And, yeah,
but anyway, at least we need to change the language, because this.
I mean, I think if you look at the numbers of various exemptions that we have, and it's not necessarily an indication of poverty, but it's an indication of low income.
Mhm,
18 is a more realistic number than 4 or 5.
right,
I mean, it just, we do have, we
Right.
have a fair number of people who qualify for our exemptions, and our exemptions are not terribly lavish. Right, they're not,
right,
you can't make more than $40,000, and that may not be poverty, but that's hard to live on in the upper valley.
right. So no, I mean, those numbers,
But I've gotta ask her if that 2010 is real, is this,
is this 2020 or 2010?
right, I mean, there's gotta be.
We want 2020.
Well, at least, yeah.
So scroll down a little bit, maybe she's got it notated underneath where she got it from.
Good point.
Yeah,
This.
she's saying it's 2024.
Yeah, so that she probably just.
So she hasn't updated the text, you're updating the text.
Yes,
So, okay, so you haven't done that one yet.
I have not done that
Okay,
one
so
yet.
that explains that
Okay,
one.
so.
Yeah.
Um,
So she has finally, we do have good data in here now.
So the stuff that I actually, like,
and the other thing on this, go back to, you just look at this, it's like your head just
I
can't
know.
get around this. There are 53 men
Exactly, and
who
0
were,
women.
who were living in poverty between the ages of 35 and 44, but no women.
0 women, so that means none of
Those
them
are all
are
the-
families.
These are all kids who are living in their parents' basements.
Ah,
I hate to
Yeah.
say it.
you're right.
yeah,
No,
it
well,
could be.
Like, the
You know-
working, like, that's the prime working age people, but they're not, that's the highest.
Yeah, but only
demographic.
66, I think, percent of the town's population is considered in the labor force.
And when they,
right,
And then
A
of
lot
that,
of
only
retirees, yeah.
0.4%, I think, is considered unemployed. But the unemployed is taken from the actual labor force. So we've got like 30+% of our population that's not even in the labor force.
oh, they're retired.
Either
Yeah,
retired
and
or they're no
aging.
longer
That's
looking
right.
for
It's an
work.
aging population.
Yeah.
So there was a sentence about that I also wanted to change exactly. On page 9, under employment, are we on page 9?
we can't be.
So the blue is what I put in, but that's all the work that I did on this.
So, yeah, I would just add, for Plainfield has only 63.6% of its population in the labor force. I would add reflecting our aging population and the number of retirees.
Okay, I can do
You
that.
know, just
Yeah.
something
No,
about,
it does tell a consistent story with what we know.
right, right. And then when we go down to recommendations,
Yeah, I didn't do any work on.
okay, well, yeah. There are quite a few.
Well, the 1760 is at the end.
What page are you on, Jay?
Well,
Recommendation should be at the end, and I don't
Yeah.
see it here, but maybe
It doesn't really look much like recommendations.
Goals,
goals and recommendations.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean.
Here it will say recommendations 2025, six plan, or whatever this is gonna be.
Right, it's 26, let's hope it's not.
27.
26. 26. I had a question about this whole thing about tax abatement underneath. We made a statement 15 years ago about the tax abatement.
Yeah, I don't know who
Well,
put that
there
in, but.
I don't know
Is that
either.
from the old? master plan?
That's the old master
I
plan.
think we,
Yeah.
I think we need to take that out or be sure that, I mean, we don't do that.
no,
We
no,
have the
it's
tax
all,
exemption though.
What?
We have the tax exemption
know,
that
but-
you can apply for,
Right.
but it's not an automatic thing.
right, so I think we should take it out. There may be some other words, but it's not those words.
Well, we could say something to the fact that the town, we should encourage people who are eligible to apply for
Yes,
tax.
Right, this
Abatement.
isn't even, this isn't the way that the system works.
No, I know. So
So,
that's what I say, that's gotta go.
yeah,
But we could still say, we should, we should do, through outreach and education, we should encourage
Yes.
people who are eligible to apply for tax exemption.
yeah, yeah, I can
efforts,
switch that out.
efforts be made to mobilize the community around a new centrality of arts, culture and.
Oh, I think that was a Dennis Hudson thing. I think we can take that out.
Let's get that baby out of there.
Okay, but that takes care of the two recommendations, so I mean, if we. if
Well,
we
even
get
number
rid of
two,
that one, it's-
even number two can go, because wealthy enough to provide directions. Well, I think we're seeing that recommendation has been met,
Right,
the shell
Yeah.
fund.
Right.
Yeah,
and you could mention that, I mean.
Yes,
and that's kind of like, I mean, that's kind of like an editorial
Yeah,
opinion
it's
based.
weird.
It's not based in data.
If you look at some of these, some of them you could tell have been written by people outside of Plainfield, the regional planning
Right.
commission. That's sort
No,
of.
but, I know the first one was something Des put in, but it, and it was, that was the time period where I went to the selectmen
Right,
after I saw the census data
right, and there is no question,
and told them that they shouldn't be patting Al on the back for only spending $6,000 a year on assistance.
right, and
Because
the
we can
and
afford to be paying a lot more and we should be paying a lot
and
more.
number two truly has been done by the shell fund. I mean,
Right, so
the
that
shell
means,
fund has a balance of more than 100 grand.
I know, so,
And so, and it pours in at tax time,
right,
income tax time. So, and it gets used, it's this wonderful tool that gets used with far fewer regulations, like none,
right,
than other. So, the human services person, currently Stephanie Shell, has great power to help change people's lives or to fix what they need fixing,
right.
and
So
so,
we can add that,
Yeah.
something about the shell fund, is,
right, and these are kind of interesting,
And as a goal, or
well, they're
in the
interesting
recommendation?
recommendations for the economic base chapter. I mean, isn't this chapter about Plainfield's?
but it's talking about poverty. It's all about poverty, 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 poverty. So let's say we are, even if it's, the goal could stay the same, I think, but,
About
If I-
encouraging.
Are you gardening
business
every day?
owners, Encouraging entrepreneurship.
I was thinking if I
Right.
could get.
Oh, yeah,
time with
I did-
Grace
I did
to
have
Talk to me, maybe you could come over and we could,
If you don't care what I look like when I show up, I can do an afternoon.
like, is there a day that you're in Plainfield and Cornish more than you are? Like, you don't wanna pull you in from Lyme.
Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm in Cornish. Thursday would be bad, I'm in Etna, and Friday would be worse, I'm in Canaan.
So maybe Wednesday afternoon, we can try to, I'll talk to Grace and see what her schedule is and I'll let you
Okay.
know, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I also had put as a goal to support and encourage small service or businesses that provide services to local residents, you know.
Okay, do you have that written down
Yep,
on a piece of paper that you can give away?
yep,
What should we have?
yep, happy to give it away.
At our next meeting, we're gonna see the Bart Warehouse in a new form.
Oh, we are?
Site plan review for, is it apiary? Is that what it be?
All
An
apiary.
apiary?
Yeah,
all
that's what it is.
apiary.
So he's gonna open a retail store
Oh,
in the Bart Warehouse, a small section of it. I think no one on the planet's gonna care, and I think the building is built for, you know, like Ross has said, the state doesn't care, cause it's less intensive.
right,
And, I mean, I think the lighting and everything was conforming, I think it's a 5-minute site plan,
mhm,
but people get, so they're,
Nice.
so he's, that will be at our next, in 2 weeks.
Okay.
The notices have gone out and so, but that's,
Maybe the five.
He is
sisters
not
will bring some
acquired.
yarn over to sell.
right, he has not bought it, he has leased it.
right.
What is an apiary again?
It's a bee,
Oh,
it's a bee
bees.
piece.
Yeah.
That's right, aviaries.
Pro-
Right, I keep
I
calling
always
it
mix it.
aviary, and he keeps telling me they're little birds.
Yeah, little.
So we're gonna have to try to go through housing,
We can, let's
'cause
do it,
I had some
let's do it.
small things.
Well, and I'm, on those, I'm gonna put them right in, like, we're gonna just do it.
Right,
So give me a second let's do housing and then call it. Good for
Okay.
that?
yep, that's,
I mean, are you good with that instead of doing 27? You know, as much fun as this is, although we got a little rhythm. Where is housing? Housing is, I got something went bad here. I got carried away.
I have to say, I didn't look at housing at all. The time that brain power that I had to spare, I focused on the.
All right, let me get that chapter up here.
okay,
You got it. No, but I'm gonna put it right into my laptop. I mean,
Okay.
like, when you give me a change, I'm putting it in and it's done.
That's great.
Except right now, when it's on one screen, I can't see
You
shit.
didn't do the blue stuff where, so we can see.
No,
what you changed.
No, I just said
Oh,
this is the,
okay.
this is the chapter. We're getting to the point, we're done, baby. Just like it, don't like it, we're wrapping this project up. This thing is, it's not gonna be, can't be last.
Doesn't matter, you wanna be done with it before you retire?
I just wanna be done with it. We'll let the retirement come when it does, but we just wanna be done with it.
Oh, God.
Um,
I'm gonna replace you.
I don't know either. It'll be interesting. It'll be fun to see how it goes.
Well, that's the word I'm-
Okay, is that? That's gotta be the one right there. Damn it, I wanna go here though. I don't wanna make any chances. You hold on, Jake. Give me 1 second. Because I just don't wanna. This stuff gets so out of.
I was glad that I sent it early enough to you so that you'd be able to pull it up on the big screen.
Yeah, no, that was easy. I appreciate.
I didn't wanna pull a Maria Guzman on you.
She's going away for the moment. Shh.
You shouldn't have said
Don't, I know, I shot to see her tomorrow night. You know, I went see that, you know.
Or is anyone on Zoom?
What's that?
Is anyone on Zoom? Are we still on?
No, but we are recording. We should probably just keep everybody, but that's okay, you know, at some point.
Somebody will be watching this tomorrow and say.
No,
"This
no,
is so much
actually, they won't be. Not unless they have a very poor life. Okay, got it, Jane. I am
Okay.
up on housing.
okay, so under table 3.1,
Ah, more tables. Oh, look at that. That's only 7 pages.
Right, it's 3.1, yeah.
okay. Um,
So I had her update the numbers.
yeah, yeah,
So it's good, you know, this was not, it flipped upside down when she brought back the next one. You know, buildings 20 years or later were down at the bottom originally, but for some reason they're like this now. But this was a ridiculously small number and now it's the accurate number of 29.
okay, somewhere on here, we need to talk about, so you're talking
But
about.
let's not do it on the charts.
No,
let's
no,
call the
okay,
charts
okay, okay,
done,
we can-
because-
No, we can call
For
the
the
charts
housing.
Yeah.
done, but I'm just saying, when there needs to be an explanation somewhere about the number of units that were built, say, between. Well, when did we pass the ADU ordinance? 2012?
Or maybe. even-
But because an ADU was a housing unit,
Right,
right?
but I'm not sure we've done very many of those in the scheme of things. We've done a bunch.
I know,
But
but
it's not-
somewhere we need to reference that. I think we need to know how much of this new housing, because people say, geez, have we really built 26 new houses in Plainfield? No. We've had maybe 18 new houses and 6 ADUs or
Right,
something.
well,
We
we
need
have,
something.
we have that data from what we know. I'm gonna go to the master plan.
Even if it's just a footnote or something saying that of the.
You would
Um,
want it in this area about the housing stock, wouldn't you?
Correct, but it doesn't have to,
I mean, it can just be an additional sentence.
So between 2011 and 2024, we've added 22 ADUs. Three apartment buildings.
Are
So
those
here-
included in this?
Yes.
If you did the built 2010 to 2019 and put an asterisk. There, and then at the bottom said this is, the AD ordinance was passed in 2011,
Right?
something like
and,
that.
and what were the total number of units? 22?
22 ADUs.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
Right, mostly guest
I know.
houses for the rich and
I know,
famous.
I know, but still,
They're
They're
units.
counting as a housing unit, and as
Yeah.
I'm saying, people will say, have there really been that many houses built?
yeah.
No, there've been, the ADUs are a major chunk of that, right?
So 51, I mean, that's a significant percentage of the new units since 2010.
Well, so in 2026, we've dropped to 6 per year, but here we could then. For new houses, but we have seen an increase in accessory dwelling units.
Yeah, that 22 have been built,
Between 2011 and so and so.
right,
So let's,
just add a sentence there, I
Well-
just,
now I'm gonna go back to the Word doc. What page are we on? Page 2. So,
so you're saying that new housing has dropped to about 6 a year, but,
for single family houses, that's a different category.
okay.
But we have added some,
A significant addition to housing stock is the ADUs.
yeah, oh no, and it's,
And some of them, you're not counting them as single family houses, you're all counting them as ADUs.
as ADUs.
So these are all single family houses, right?
Oh.
Okay, well, but I still think that you needed something in there about the ADUs.
Since 2011. 22. Special.
Just as an
plans.
just to show you how absolutely spoiled I am. I was expecting what he was typing to show up.
Oh. No.
It's like I'm waiting. for
Yeah,
it to
no,
show
that
up
would be-
there. It's
that-
like, what, okay.
2025. The state of New Hampshire. Hampshire legislature. Sure, made broad changes to AD. Towns to allow both attached and detached. I mean, if you've been around this business a while, and many of us have, that is such a big change,
Right,
that all of a sudden everybody can have 2 houses, and they made it bigger, right?
Yeah,
right.
950, I mean, it's,
Well, we thought we were being really brazen when we decided to make them, it could be detached. Like, whoa.
Right. By special exception.
By-
Now they're detached by a building permit only.
Yeah.
And it better not be a hard building permit to get. No, it's true. 22, so I've got, since 2011, the town's housing stock has added 22 accessory dwelling units. In 2025, the state of New Hampshire legislature made broad changes to the ADU enabling legislation requiring towns to allow both attached and detached units. I mean, that tells the
Okay,
story.
that tells the story,
Yeah,
I just
I
think it
think-
needs
yeah.
to be there. So then, under, recommendations,
Hold on just a second.
Wow, you made it all the way to the recommendations.
well,
Steve.
it's a short chapter.
Cancel that, okay, go down. Page down. Not very good without the mouse, I'm not all that good with the mouse. Alright, what do you got?
Oh, can we look? at
Oh, yeah, oh, that's right, you're not, to your point, this is just a PDF that's doing nothing, okay.
it?
Oh, those are very succinct, aren't they?
I'm not sure what discourage intrusions into residential neighborhoods means.
Well, that's some legacy stuff, so it can go away.
That can go away.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
that,
think so.
you know,
Discourage intrusion, that's somebody that didn't want a business near their house and got pissed.
Yeah.
So consider so, I mean, if you guys as the planning board, I mean, I'm an alternate for tonight's meeting, but. Probably the next thing. Down with the goddamn mess. Is how do you test the waters with the community about suddenly making the rural residential zone 1 acre zone or 2 acre zoning, right?
Or make it the rural residential staying the same, but creating a more lenient zone.
Somewhere else, yes.
Well, like in between.
I mean, it's hard for you two to see, but if you look right above you, the town zoning ordinance is there and the ivory colored is rural residential. And RC2 is the least used, least friendly zone for development. VR and RR are the most, and so most building permits we get, most Peony Goodwin subdivisions in the 80s occurred in the rural residential zone, which is mostly road frontage on class 5 roads, right?
Yeah, but if we were to do something in between the village residential and the rural residential, create a different zone.
Gene, were you doing this? Has any of us working for the town or participating in town government been around when we changed the zone significantly? I mean, it's gotta be a shit show.
well,
We
we
extended the VR zone.
extended the VR zone down to.
All the way down to
Cornish
town
Pond
line. And that wasn't too bad, as I remember it, that was,
I don't think. there
That was this lower half.
yeah, it
Yeah.
goes all the way down, it
It
used to stop.
It used to stop.
And
Yeah.
so,
Extended it down to the Cornish Town.
I mean, there's some gerrymandering there that you'd get a kick out of, like that little bit of VR zone. See it, call it 12 o'clock on the map, you go straight out,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of VR zone. Everybody says that's Lou Hauser, Cutler, he was a selectman during the 1970s when they got zoning. And so his property got zoned VR, but there is no village there, I mean,
Right.
but, I mean, what, it's interesting because you can say, like, when was the last time any of us saw on a subdivision plan, Chris Rollins or Wayne McCutcheon or anyone bring in a 3.5 acre lot? But they're allowed, but really, this requirement for septic, at over 5 acres, you don't have to prove anything about septic. And 11 acres for current use, really amounts to state zoning. Right, we get 5 acre lots and 11 acre lots.
Right.
So they,
So I personally, I don't think allowing higher density is gonna address the issue of affordability at all.
No, people don't wanna sell their property. They don't
Well-
wanna subdivide.
so maybe, my point to that point is that maybe the town recommendation doesn't wanna say that then. If the planning board doesn't feel like,
Well, I think it's something, I mean, I know Mike has talked about this, if you had a 2 acre zoning instead of 3.5, but.
I mean, I would
Still think-
agree more with that if the ADU option wasn't allowed. The one thing that is strange about the ADU, has to be, because it's not a subdivision, is you can't sell it separately. Right, so when you put the kid who's been living in the basement, you finally get him up into the fresh air and the light. He's not building any equity until he gets your property, right? I mean, you know, and then he's got the rental. We've had people build them just for rentals. The most common thing I would bet is for children or for aging parents.
Mhm.
But they were the mother-in-law.
Yeah, that's what we were expecting
Yeah.
when we did it. I mean, that's what we
And so it's-
expected.
And it's still a pile of money, right? I mean, we're getting,
Oh, I mean,
we're getting
It's not cheap to
$700 per square foot estimates for buildings now, $700. You know, I mean, that 950 square foot ADU, $1 million house by the time you do some site work.
Yeah.
I
it's
mean,
crazy. This is crazy. But anyway, I don't think I think it would be, I mean, it might make you feel better that we're trying to do something for affordability, but I think from a practical standpoint, it wouldn't make it really would make no difference if you lowered the lot size.
the
No,
very,
the actual building cost is what
That's-
does you in.
That's what I'm saying. That's
the
what I'm saying.
very worst of the two Vendito lots have now sold, the ones on Gleason. We just got the transfer today, $241,000 for less than 7
Terrible.
acres.
Terrible.
7 acres of wet. And on that, they are bringing piece by piece this house up from wherever,
Right.
you know, and the other one sold
It's
it.
just Who are these
180.
people that are doing?
Well, and if that continues, that's the market,
Yeah.
right? When we do a reval next, if that becomes the market. So that's a little
that?
scary.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Right.
And
$240,000 for a 7 acre lot, that's, you know, you should be locked
And
up
it's a
in an
terrible
insane
lot.
asylum.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the other part. If
Yeah,
it were,
right.
if it were a beautiful open field with. a
looking right
view
at
of
Mount
that
Escotney and.
I'd say sure, but it's a terrible lot. They're
Yes.
gonna run into all the kinds of issues building that lot,
Yeah.
putting in their foundation. You know, I mean, unless they're bird watchers or something, and they wanna be able to have a swamp
Yeah,
to watch birds or something. It's
unless
crazy.
they figure they're
I mean, the
just gonna
thing
be
that
able to
must-
just fill it in.
The thing that must catch the people's eyes that have looked at those two lots must be, it's just at the end of the pavement. You see the KUA guest house, and once you get on to Bean Road and start down, you get that kind of Courier and
Right,
Ives
right.
view of the campus. But the houses aren't gonna see that, and the houses are gonna, well, first off, you're not gonna open the screens, because the black flies are coming out.
Oh, God,
Coming in on the-
it's gonna be so bad, the insects
But
are,
it's
yeah.
just, Vendito is laughing his ass to the bank, right?
Oh, God,
I mean,
yeah.
he gave Eric Meyer, who knows what, 40-50 grand in attorney fees. And it's all gravy from now on out. I mean,
I
it's-
guess so.
It is bizarre, and they just listed a couple more, so, I mean, I think he wants to strike as long as these
Yeah.
people keep coming in. With those, I mean, Matt Decker, who's, you know, a pretty good guy and an attorney and everything. He's like, I can't pay 1.2 million for the lot across from my house.
Is that what he's asking?
No, well, I mean, but if you just scale it up, as the
Right.
lots get bigger and drier, for instance.
Yeah,
It's just
It's
bizarre,
crazy.
but it is, I mean. Well, the people who bought the Timmons's house. They were going to, their
Yeah,
kids are the Sitzmas.
right.
And they were gonna, he's a retired dentist, and they were gonna build a Cape house on that lot, they've given that up, they said the numbers were just insane.
Yeah.
They'll just visit the
After
kids.
they tore the house down.
Yes, and literally in one day.
Oh, I know, 'cause
Made the
I
t-
went
Made the
through it.
Timmons's life go away, it was gone. Kevin McNamara, I mean, I'm not saying anything bad, I'm just saying, the Timmons's existence was gone in a day. The grass was mulched and seeded, and it was over.
Oh.
It's just
Yeah,
amazing.
no, I went to document that house before they tore it down.
Right.
I mean, yeah, and I went all the way through it, and they're a very nice couple. And I was wondering if they built something yet, but they haven't.
No, they kept that, the ugly building on the property they kept.
The barn.
The gambrel
Right,
roof
right,
garage that had
right.
weird windows, it
Right,
just kind of
right.
sets there, but that's what he used as a shop, or he would work in there. Or keep his antiques that he was doing, selling at the flea markets or whatever he did, but that building has, and then they've had a relative. wintered in there, but he's gone now. He would run up to the house, use the restroom. Which I think the Sitzmas are now on their fourth little kid. 4 kids is probably enough in your house. You don't need the uncle coming up, going through, you know, pity, but literally, I mean, it is, every one of us, go home at night and hug your house.
Yeah,
Right? It's crazy.
Right.
It is crazy.
yeah, I think
Good
that,
minor pound back.
Yeah, well, yours
I'll
is
put
great.
it on it, yeah.
Yours is good though. You guys made it good.
yeah,
It needs a little, needs a little work, but, you know.
Yeah,
came a
but
long
you
way
got-
from where it was.
Right, no, we,
Rescued it from the dead.
Here are my notes. It's on, they're on the bottom.
I'm gonna hit-
All right, well, we haven't solved that issue, but. I mean, consider allowing. Well, we could leave that in there as a,
I mean, you can consider it.
we can consider it.
We just did. Fall.
Done, check.
All right, so we'll do another couple at the next meeting.
Yep.
Just keep rolling through, and we gotta get, have you had a chance to send
No, I
Megan?
didn't. Yeah, I know you told me to.
Well, I mean, she did, she's clear, I mean, they haven't given, I mean, I guess maybe they're just gonna hand us the NRI, right? And say, here's the new natural release, and that may be good. They're spending another like 17 grand on something. I meant to go to the hearing and then I forgot.
so do we have the energy chapter?
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
one from
Yeah,
Evan.
We're all done,
That's done.
yes,
Yeah.
okay. So I don't feel bad about not having the economic chapter done if Megan hasn't gotten hers in, cause I've only. been
Right, and
working
if
on-
once we have the once we have the natural resource chapter, I mean, we've essentially got the document
Right,
done.
right.
Yeah.
Then I
Yeah,
think we do
have
need
it.
to plan on a hearing,
Right, yes.
and we wanna. And I think we wanna tell some story at the hearing of what we discovered, because
Right.
most people aren't, and it's just a
Should
few
we
little.
bring a giant ibuprofen bottle?
I mean, most,
What benefit do you think there will be of me meeting with Grace?
well, if, we don't have to, I just didn't know if you wanted to help me explain the changes, but I
I
can
mean,
do it.
if you want me to.
No, I can do it,
Like
don't worry about it.
after 1 o'clock on Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, no, let me see what I can do. If we have
Okay.
questions, we'll do it. If it doesn't go well with Grace, I'll bring in the heavy hitter.
Oh. Okay.
All right. All right, I'm gonna run to the bathroom before I drive home.
Yeah, are we
I
all
did-
set?
Yep, I
Okay,
did,
for
I
today?
did talk to, Mike is on his way home, so
Okay.
he'll be I think he'll be here for the next meeting. He'll be back.
Okay, good. You gone out to lunch with Joe yet?
I have not, part of me, I mean,
We saw his wife last night driving by.
his new wife, old wife,
Uh,
he's like number 4, right?
He doesn't have a new one, does he?
Well, I don't know. I mean, he just,
No, this is his-
they've divorced.
I don't know, but she, so we need. to-
I mean, and you know, I feel like it's not in my being to just say, no, I'm not interested in having lunch with you. But no, I'm not interested. You know, I mean, first off, you
You
have to
gotta
take,
draw the
I mean,
line somewhere.
John had the same experience, right? The guy can't drive for shit.
No, so John said he never would drive.
I've never gone to Lebanon and seen have my car be on my seat be on the other side of the white lawn. I
Wow,
mean, he uses all the lanes.
that's impressive.
See you guys.
Road warrior.
Thank you,
Have a good
Steve.
night.
Are you ready? Cause you're about to have all of this dumped into your lap.
Right, that's.
We're wrapping this